Greetings. Today I'd like to talk to you about the concept and the modality known as human design. It's not something that I have talked about on here before, however, I would love to share a little more with you about this. This vlog is going to be more of an introduction to the modality, and I've been experimenting with human design for a couple of years. And it's a modality that combines the astrology, the I Ching, Kabbalah, Vedic philosophy. Oh, I meant to say philosophy, but velocity. Interesting. Anyway, and it also combines a couple of other elements and modalities. Some a little more scientific, or what we might consider them a little more scientific. So. Yes, what it can be useful is helping facilitate body, generational and interdimensional intelligence that we've all come here with, and our beautiful gifts and beautiful being of being the human in this moment. And what I enjoy about experimenting with this human design is like navigating things like burnout, optimizing my energy, playing around with more clarity and confidence with my decisions, discerning what matters to me, building on my own natural gifts and strengths, as well as looking at my potential challenges and the wisdoms that can come from those, and experiencing more harmony and understanding in my relationships as well. So, I'm not coming on here to tell you about human design because I need to sell you anything. You can use it as an experiment and play with it or not. It's really up to you whether you feel drawn to learn about it and then to practice it. It has given me more permission. This is just one of many one of many gifts that has come through the use of this experiment is allowing myself to be more in my, what I would consider, magnetism. And it's always there. It's within all of us. For some, they have to play around, or they don't have to, but they may benefit more from playing around in more of a magnetism state of their being. And with that, it's given me also permission, although I don't need necessarily external permission, but it's nice sometimes in life to get yourself little gentle reminders external to yourself of, hey, is this where you want to be going, etc., etc. And so moving away from the striving to be obtaining a particular space or obtaining attention. Less of the striving outside, less of the trying to chase, and more into what I would call, as I said before, the magnetism of the waiting. Waiting for the right invitation actually is the strategy that works best for me. And that's because in the human design, someone like myself, I'm considered to be a projector. I have an environmental authority, which is an interesting kind of authority. When I say authority, it's not talking necessarily about an authority outside of yourself. There's different kinds of authorities within the body. However, the authority that I have is maybe considered a little bit more outside myself, and I can go more into that in another vlog. But the answers still come from myself. It just can be more beneficial when there is a person that is present when I'm talking about the decisions that I'm having to make. And then the purpose of that is not for them to give me advice or to even really say anything necessarily. It's they're providing their defined centers or their gates within their design that I can use to bounce off. I guess maybe it's the best way to express that. And my answers come through hearing as I speak with a person, not necessarily anything related with the decision. So yes. And I have a rather karmic, what we call an incarnation cross as well, which resonates a lot with me and how I feel the influence or the potential power that resides of really shifting and changing not just a person's life, but also a group, a collective, and that can feel like a lot of responsibility in how one could be considered major or minor decision can have such an effect on a person or a number of people, but not just people and humans, obviously, environments, things as well. And I have what they call a 5-1 profile, which the 5 is often associated with the heretic, and that's an archetype that I do play with and am aware of since I was a young child. And the number 1 in human design for profiles is often associated with research, being the investigator, and that is something that I can really get into when I'm in the right state of being. I do like to research and to look in, observe, embody as much of what it is that I'm learning before it is then shared with others, and that can be mostly a beneficial thing because it provides a foundation, more of a foundation, as I would say, for wisdoms to be shared. So I may speak further about this topic in due course. If you are interested, obviously, you can let me know through the comment section down below, or you can contact me through social media platforms. The descriptions are in the description box below. So we talk about human design having these different types, and that can help you build a bit of a map of how to experiment with this. And it can go very detailed. I'm also learning about gene keys, which is associated with human design. In human design, they have a range of gates, they call them, and in gene keys, they're called gene keys. And that can go into quite a lot of depth as well. So again, it's an experiment, so you can try it, you can see how you feel with it, you can see whether you are moving more naturally in the way that you feel is right for you, your gifts are coming through, you're able to recognize what sort of challenges that you're working with. So I really enjoy learning about human design. It has been it's very much the early days, what I would consider the early days of experimenting with it, and I can't pinpoint exactly why it resonates with me so much, but it is potentially because it's combining so many beautiful or potentially beautiful modalities together and applying them in as a practical sort of way you possibly can in a world that we consider to be a world of modernity or a modern society. So yes, it can have a lot of practical effects, which is, for me, that's generally what I prefer. It's all very good and well to have lots of experiences in life, but I struggle sometimes when it's like, how do I actually apply this to my life practically? Otherwise it just sort of remains as like information in the ether, which obviously I can extract at any moment in time, but when it has more of a practical element to it, I feel I can use it a lot quicker, whatever the sense of time is, than a concept that may sit there for 5 or 10 years before I'm like, oh, that's why I know about you. Anywho, I will see you again soon.